Let me ask you a question, and I want you to really think deeply and answer sincerely. Do you honestly think you'd be qualified to receive a 5 million naira grant from the government? Why would anybody give you 5 million naira? What can you do with 5 million naira? What are the ideas? What have you done before? What business activity have you engaged in before? What are you doing now that anybody can actually entrust 5 million naira to you and trust you to make judicious use of it and create some value out of it? Of course, it takes two to tango. So the question is, how much value are we adding to the system? How well are we positioning ourselves to receive value from government, to receive help and be able to take advantage of the much that government can possibly do? Yeah, I'm back. What's up, my Naija people? How una dey? Did you miss that chant? Yeah, the elections are over, but I'm back. Yeah, I took a long break. I had to do that. Breaks are good, you know. Yeah, it was pretty long, but trust me, it is for good. And I tell you the truth, it was worth it. Socrates, the famous philosopher, did say, the unexamined life is not worth living. We need to do some self-evaluation. We need to do some examination for the purpose of growth. Like they say, the only constant thing in life is change. I guess this is my own change. Trust me, I'm excited to be back. It's so good to be back. I'm excited. Welcome to the channel. It's going to be value after value, back to back, day in, day out, week in, week out. Yeah, last year, February was a beehive of activities in Nigeria, the general elections. I did do a lot of work in that period in terms of content creation, bringing you information, analysis. I know that a lot of you are quite disappointed in the outcome of the elections. Yeah, I'm quite disappointed too. Yeah, in case you didn't know, I actually did support Peter Obi in that election. Yeah, subtly. Yeah, all of my contents in that period were carefully tailored to promote the Peter Obi agenda. I had nothing against the other major candidates, Atiku Abubakar of the PDP, the eventual winner, Bola Ahmed Tinubu of the APC. I actually did say, of course I did say a number of times that it was actually good. I still believe Nigeria is lucky to have those three individuals contesting the presidential election. And I believe it can only get better. In their own rights, to a large extent, quite credible individuals in terms of leadership and in terms of sagacity when it comes to politics. All of the three, Peter Obi of the Labour Party, Atiku Abubakar of the PDP, Tinubu of the APC, eminently qualifies to be contesting for president. And I guess that's why the election was a true contest indeed. Although quite tense, but at least now we are out of all of that. Governance is in place. Of course, after elections is governance. The whole purpose of politicking and electioneering is to gain power and serve the people. So having said that, why did I support Peter Obi? I just thought at this point of our history and development, Peter Obi, for reasons I don't want to get into right now. Of course, I did a couple of analysis commentary during that period, and I still think he is the best person from my perspective, from the best of my understanding. My own opinion though, is the best to be leading Nigeria at this point if we put those three together, even though I still believe that all of the three are eminently qualified to be president. Yeah, the campaigns are over. This is not a critique. In fact, talking about self-evaluation, talking about reinvention, talking about self-examination, there's going to be a little tweak in my content. For me, it's been a metamorphosis. It's been a transformation over the years. I remember there was a time where I used to be actively involved with civil society organizations, going out for protests and all of that. Later, after some, self-evaluation, appraisal, I did conclude that it wasn't the best way to go, because for me, it's about getting government to serve people. It's about encouraging quality leadership. It's about engendering and encouraging political participation. So I had to move away from that, from active civil society involvement. I did work with a couple of civil society organizations during that time, and I moved away from that because I thought that it wasn't really working. Protests and all the related activities that civil society organizations usually deploy. I just didn't think it was working. I didn't think it was the best way to go in terms of engaging government and getting government to really serve the people. But with all due respect to everyone functioning in that area, I'm not trying to downplay the much that they do. It's good, it's all good, but I just didn't think that that was how I wanted to go. So I moved into critique, content creation critique. After after the general elections, I had to also go back and do some evaluation and do some retrospect. And I'm having to do some changes again. I'm having to do some shifts again. And for me, it's all growth. It's all growth. For those of you who really know me and who have followed my content and engagement on social media, it's mainly be socio-political and some business too. Of course, I've always been in business, sales, marketing, but I've mainly been socio-political in my engagement. But right now, I'm tweaking a bit, I'm switching. It's not really a switch, I'll call it a tweak. I'm going to be more socio-economic now going forward. So my content will be more socio-economic related. That's basically business. For me, it's about the best way to give value and really empower people. We need to start thinking of real empowerment and how we can really empower ourselves beyond just what government can do. Of course, we can't ignore politics. Man is a political animal. Of course, I'll still be doing a bit of politics, commentary here and there, analysis here and there, if need be. But mainly, it's going to be business, socio-economic. Let's see how we can really empower ourselves. Let's see how we can help each other to grow, make some money, financial independence basically. So going forward, that is what my engagement is going to be about. So trust me, it's going to be a lot of value. Get ready for real value. Yeah, like I said, I know that a lot of you are quite disappointed in the outcome of the presidential elections. I am too. However, we just have to accept the outcome and begin to set agenda and probably maybe look forward to the next election. Yeah, this is my personal opinion. I've been following elections in Nigeria for some time. I actually did not believe that Peter Obi of the Labour Party did lose that election. But again, the highest court of the land says he did, and that President Tinubu is the actual winner, as announced by INEC. Who am I to say otherwise? So we are going to have to accept the outcome and support this government to succeed. Yeah, that you were on opposing camp in the election doesn't mean you can actually support the winner, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, to succeed, because at the end of the day, his success is our collective success. At least until the next election, we can start choosing sides again. So I believe that we should actually support the president to succeed and engage the government, and let's see the most that we can do to help it to succeed, because this is Nigeria we're talking about now. I know that Nigerians usually think that government has to do everything. Government has to give us jobs, government has to provide housing, government has to do a whole lot of things. Of course, government should do a whole lot of things. Of course, government should provide development and empower the people. But let me tell you something. We often don't really consider these things properly in Nigeria. Government can't actually do everything. Yeah, I know you don't like to hear that, but it's the truth. Government can actually do everything. Yeah. Now, I'm not saying this to hold brief for government, no. I'm not saying this to exonerate government from ineptitude. Yeah, I know that largely, not just in Nigeria, in Africa, we've not really had the best of leadership. We've largely had quite irresponsible leadership. But having said that, government can't do everything. And let me tell you something. I don't even think that our leaders and those in government know so much. Many times they are overwhelmed. Yeah, to a large extent, I actually believe that the level of misappropriation, embezzlement you see in Africa is stemming from the fact that many times people, after elections, people get into government and they get to see the challenge before them, and the resources available, resources are usually limited, very limited. I know that many of you think that Nigeria is a really rich country. Yeah, but I'm sorry to say, Nigeria is not exactly as rich as you think. Now, if you narrow it down and you begin to compare our national budget to budgets of departments and ministries in places like the United States, the United Kingdom, and some part of Europe, even in the Middle East, you may want to have a rethink. In fact, comparing them budget to budget is actually quite embarrassing to see the disparity in terms of availability of resources. So many times when our people get into government, they get overwhelmed and they just feel, okay, maybe I just make life better for myself and my family and children unborn, generations unborn. So I know that my future and the future of my generations to come are secured. Of course, that's irresponsible. Of course, that is barbaric, because leadership is also about innovation, about resource management, about management of resources and using available resources to achieve the greatest good for all. So what am I saying invariably? We as citizens also have a lot to do. In Africa and Nigeria, we usually think, oh, government has to do this, government has to do that, government is not doing this, government is not doing that. Of course, I agree, government has to do a lot. Infrastructural development, a whole lot. But truly, like John F. Kennedy did say, that statement still holds true. Think not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. So let me narrow it down. How about you start a business? At least you can remove yourself from those that the government has to bother about giving jobs. How about that? So what I'm saying invariably is that we must start thinking of how to help government. And how do we help government? I'm not saying you give government money. Yeah, of course, if you are that well to do, it's possible. Yeah, you can actually, give government money. Yeah, but that's not even what I'm talking about. What I'm trying to say is that we must see how we can add value to the economy beyond what government can do or government is doing. Yeah, of course, the government has to create enabling environment. But you see, this idea of thinking that government can do everything, I don't actually think government can do so much. I actually think that the government can only do as much as the people are willing to add value to themselves and to their country and to the economy in particular. Talking about wealth creation, this is a clarion call. We have to wake up. While we wait for governments to really wake up and be up and doing, I actually think that we as citizens have to stand up and take responsibility and start thinking of how to add value to the economy. Wealth creation, basically, business creation, business development, and I'm not even talking about doing something elaborate. I'm talking about actually starting even small scale businesses, medium scale businesses, and then we can scale up. But we must start thinking business, not jobs. This job mentality, government has to create job, I'm sorry, it's not going to work, because government can actually create jobs. The best they can possibly do is create the enabling environment. Yeah. So that's why we have to support government to succeed. Then we can now begin to see how we can take advantage of the much that government is doing. And if we're engaging government, then we can begin to probably set agenda in terms of how we can explore the much that government can give in further adding value to the economy. So it should be a partnership. Yeah, like I did say, it starts from you. How about you start thinking business instead of jobs? And let me tell you something. In buttressing my claim that government can't do so much, the government can only help you as much as you are willing to help yourself. I hope you know that even in the Western world, in the developed world, there are poor people. Yeah. Come on, Jesus of Nazareth did say, the poor you always have amongst you. Even in the United States, in China, yeah. In the oil-rich Saudi Arabia, you have poor people. Yeah, there are poor people in Saudi Arabia. In Europe, of course there are poor people. It appears that the onus falls on the people in terms of gaining financial freedom, in terms of, getting above the poverty level.
Yao Qizhong spent so much of his childhood hungry, even now at age 40, he'll stoop to pick up a single clove of garlic that falls from his Beijing market table. Yao may have left the countryside decades ago, but with food prices in China skyrocketing, he and his family still eat as peasants do, filling up on noodles with greens and cheap steamed buns.
Now you see that. In Nigeria, we call that Bendan Select. That's the United States, actually. That's the United States of America. Now, I'm not in any way denigrating that. No. That's business, actually. That's business, and that's good. It's okay to start from somewhere. It's okay to start small. So what am I saying invariably? Government can only help you or help us as much as we are willing to help ourselves and add value to the economy. In buttressing my claim, let me ask you a question. Let's narrow it down home, Nigeria. Assuming the Tinubu administration, the federal government of Nigeria, is going to give a grant. Let's say the Tinubu administration wants to give 5 billion naira to, say, 20 million Nigerians. Let me ask you a question, and I want you to really think deeply and answer sincerely. Do you honestly think you'll be qualified to receive a 5 billion naira grant from the government? Do you honestly think you qualify to receive or be part of those to benefit from that 5 billion naira? So the question would be, why would anybody give you 5 billion naira? What can you do with 5 billion naira? What are the ideas? What have you done before? What business activity have you engaged in before? What are you doing now that anybody can actually entrust 5 million naira to you and trust you to make judicious use of it and create some value out of it? So that's the question. So if maybe your state government wants to give out 2 million, 5 million, 10 million naira to people, say 5 million people in the state, or say 500,000 people in the state. Do you honestly think that you qualify to be part of the beneficiaries? So it's not just enough to criticize government. It's not just enough to say government is not doing this. Of course, there's a lot that government is not doing. Of course, leadership has to step up. Of course, leadership has to sit up and do more and do better and be more accountable. Of course. But the question is, are we on the other side also doing our bits? Yeah, of course it takes two to tango. So the question is, are we adding value? Us on the other side, are we adding value outside government? How much value are we adding to the system? How well are we positioning ourselves to receive value from government, to receive help and be able to take advantage of the much that government can possibly do? So it's about value creation, it's about adding value, and I'll repeat, it will be a good thing and a lot of value for the economy if you can remove yourself from those government has to create jobs for, and probably maybe do something. That's already good enough. You have something doing, you don't have to rely on government to give you a job and pay salaries. You are already doing a whole lot for the country if you can do that. Let's not even talk of the possibility of you probably even, beyond yourself, employing somebody, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 persons paying salaries. That is a lot of value you are adding to the economy. So that's what I'm talking about. So I just hope you are able to see it from my perspective. So what I'm saying invariably, in a nutshell, is that we have to position ourselves and also add value to this economy beyond the much that government can do, beyond asking government to do this, do that. Of course, government has to work. Of course, government has to be responsible. But there's a lot that citizens can do too. There's a lot that citizens should be doing too. And for me, I think that the best way citizens can possibly add value to their country, and the best way as Nigerians and Africans to add value to our different countries, is by thinking business. Again, thank you for joining me. I am back for good. Lots of value coming your way. Business. Let's see how we can, add value to the economy. Let's see how we can add more value to ourselves in wealth creation. Let's see how we can help ourselves. You're probably doing something, I'm doing something. We can engage, Let's patronize each other going forward. I'm going to be availing you this platform. Let's see how we can make the best use of it. I want to know what you do. You probably want to share ideas. I will share some ideas too. And then we can help each other, to grow, and let's see how we can really create some wealth and invest in ourselves, self-development generally, and by doing that, I believe that it is the best way to add value to our country beyond what government can possibly do. We are partners in the system too. We are. So thank you for watching. I hope I'm giving some value here. My name is Efeko Lamadin. Let me do what YouTubers do. Like the video. Of course, you have to like the video. Come on, please like the video, because if you do, it helps the algorithm to push this video even further for more people to be able to see it. And then drop a comment. Come on, let's continue the conversation in the comment section. I promise I'll reply all your comments. I'll be reading through. Yeah, the conversation doesn't end with just the video. It also continues in the comment section. And please share if you don't mind. That would be some extra favor. I would really appreciate, special appreciation, if you do get to share the video. Please, let's support each other to grow. Feel free to drop your comments. Feel free to disagree. Feel free to support. Let's build a real community here. Let's engage. Let's add some value to our country. Let's add some value to ourselves. Let's grow. It's all about self-development. It's all about community development. It's all about growth. Thank you for watching. See you on the next one.